What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are working on the old Ovation here. If you guys are subscribed, thanks for coming back, and if you're not, it's free, man. Just click subscribe, doesn't cost you nothing. Put these videos out all the time. Anyways, long story short on this Ovation here, picked this up last winter at the end of the winter, putting a ported piped phaser motor in it. All I got done last year was I got the phaser chain case and skid in with the phaser drive shaft, so now at least it's a roller. But as you can tell here, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. So a couple days ago I picked up a Yamaha Venture just for the motor. Basically I sold the rolling chassis on my way home from the guy's house that I bought it from, so I got the motor in the shed. I'm gonna go grab that, but we're gonna fit that motor in here because the motor that came with this thing, which is still sitting on my bench from last year, had a bad crank and the cases are a mess, so I needed a new motor pretty much, and ended up just buying a whole nother sled. So I'm gonna go grab that engine out of the shed and we're gonna start putting that together. I think first step is rip this wiring harness out of here, the Ovation harness, because I don't think we're going to be using it. All the plugs are probably different for your stator and everything. So we're going to rip this harness out. We have to put the harness in from that Venture I picked up because I kept the harness out of it. We're going to lay that harness in here, somehow looking decent. Once that's in, we're going to drop that motor in. The motor mounts were figured out last year. And then we're kind of going to see where we get to today. I'd like to see if the pipe fits in here, the A-end pipe. I know I'm going to have to blast a new hole because it doesn't go at the factory exit. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let me go get the engine. Let me go get that harness. We're going to get this Ovation jacked up in the air and see where we get to today. Alrighty, so I've been working on this for like an hour and a half now. Got the seat off. Looks like there was mice starting to make nests. Nice. The whole Ovation harness is ripped out. The Venture harness is now laid in place. I had to use the battery tray with all the wiring from the Venture because all the connectors were different. I could have re-spliced them, but there's no point. I have the battery tray and there's the original tray out of the Ovation. The hood, headlight and gauge plug was different, so I had to cut it off the old Ovation harness, splice it to the Venture harness, but now that's all good. A lot of the handlebar connectors are different, but that's not a big deal. I do have the handlebars off the Ovation, and I'll probably end up pulling the heated grips and stuff off the Ovation, or sorry, off the Venture. I have the Venture handlebars, so I'll probably take those grips and stuff and accessories off there and use those so they'll all connect up fine. The throttle we're going to be getting rid of, and we're putting a VMAX 500/600 throttle on it because we have a set of flat slide carbs off of VMAX 500/600. These are known to be a little easier to tune than the butterfly carbs that come with the phaser. I'm not a big fan of those. Some guys like them, but not a fan. So those will be going on. So the wiring for now is kind of sort of where it's going to be. I'm going to have to find a place to mount the CDI. Minor issue. I'll do that after the engine's in. But for now, I'm going to remove this factory fuel pump here since it's only a single outlet pump. We're going to put this dual outlet pump from the phaser in here. So I'm going to do that. After that's done, I can put the gas tank back in, put the seat back on for now, and then we can start working on dropping the motor in and seeing what lines up. But this is where we're at so far. Fuel pump's in. Actually, this was the phaser pump, and the way it worked, the inlet size from the tank was actually too small for the line coming off the tank, but I just so happened to have one extra dual outlet pump in my box of carb stuff, and it had the proper size inlet, same pump but proper size inlet. So now we're good there. It's kind of close to the jack shaft, but it does clear, it doesn't hit the jack shaft, and it looks like our other three lines, so it's going to be our crankcase vent, one fuel line to the carb, one other, they're going to come out around, probably go in this clip here. I'll bend this clip down. That'll hold the lines down so they clear the jack shaft, and that'll be good. So we're going to put the motor in. I had to repair a ground wire on it. It looked like it looked like it got ripped, but it was busted in half, so I put a butt splice on it. We're going to tape this all up real good, and then we're going to slap this motor in and see if it lands on these mounts. It did last year with the other phaser engine, so it should be fine, but wishful thinking, I guess. Let's see if this motor fits in. It should, because the other one fit in, and it's the same thing, so let's see here. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yep, we're on. Oh, this one's not on. There we go. Now we're on. We're on all 3 mounts. Look at that. Okay. I put a new piece of vacuum line here. I'm gonna give that a cut so this isn't all hanging off it. But hey, look at that. Motor's in. Not bad. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for today. But we made a lot of progress. I kind of got held up because I'm missing a fan belt. I do have a fan belt, but it's like super sketchy and old and weather cracked, so I don't want to run it. And because I don't have that, I can't put the recoil on. I can't put the rest of the fan shroud on or any of that stuff. So we're kind of stuck here. But check this out. I did do a couple things here. So I threw the VMAX carbs on just to see how they were going to fit. I got these pod filters on here. I hate pod filters. I don't want to run pod filters, but we'll see what happens. There's absolutely no way an airbox is fitting in here. Like, I've got this really tiny little custom-made airbox that I thought was going to go in here because it's super small, very narrow. Not a chance of that fitting. So we'll see. But I just sort of tossed the pipe in place to see how it's going to go. And it looks like it's going to fit. It's tight to the chain case, but we're going to have to put something there, or maybe a mount to hold it just to say off it, like that. We'll have to blast a new hole down here for it to exit out of the belly pan. So we'll have to blast a new hole there in front of the chain case. But looks like it's going to fit. The only thing is I have to check the side panel to see if it clears, but I think it's going to clear. I think the pipe's going to fit. The engine's in, the carbs are in. Airbox isn't going to fit. Factory belt guard off the Ovation is going to fit. Well, it should. It's the factory one from this chassis. I threw the clutches on really quick just to see if they semi-lined up. And hard to tell on video, but I think we're going to be able to get her. So things are looking up. So next video, I'll get that fan belt. And once that fan belt's in, I can pretty much completely bolt the motor in. Right now, it's just loose in there. But I can completely slam it down and then start working on whatever's left, getting that pipe situated. I don't want to touch the pipe until the motor's bolted. So we'll get the pipe in there. We'll get the hole blasted. We'll get the carbs figured out. We'll get the clutches figured out. We're going to have to take the clutches apart and go through the clutching because we need to pull 7250 RPM with this AN pipe. And I think the factory's 68. So I'm going to have to see what I have with clutching stuff to try and get that. But so far, so good. Oh, and one other thing. I cannot get an oil tank to fit in here. Phaser oil tank doesn't fit. I have an old Indy 650 oil tank, really small one, pretty small, doesn't fit. But what we're going to do is, see this mount here? If I went on Amazon, you can get like a small little square. It only holds a liter though, which is a little small, but 1 liter pocket bike gas tank, like gas tank off those old little crotch rocket pocket bikes. I think that's going to mount right here perfectly, and that'll feed our oil pump because I do want to keep the oil injection, even though it sucks on these, but I do want to keep it. So anyways, there's going to be more on this. Stay tuned. We have lots of stuff coming up here, all kinds of videos on different things. So just getting it all together here. But thanks for watching, and subscribe, leave a comment if you like this kind of stuff, and see you on the next video. Bye. Hey, subscribe to the channel.